Okay, so this is my video for explaining how to work a mortar in Arma Reforger. Um, so first off, probably need to get familiar with the mortar and how it works. So first we'll start with actually looking at the mortar. Um, if you look on the left side of my screen, there is mils and then there's degrees. For the most part, you will use mils. I'm sure there is a certain scenario where you will use degrees, but in most cases you'll use mils. Same with top of the screen. Mils are just a lot um, more accurate than degrees, as you can look. I'm at 4856 and then 27 or 273.2 degrees. If I shift, it's about 3 mils per degree. Um, and then get familiar with our armament, which would be, for most cases, fragmentation shells. Um, Probably will use an illumination and smoke, but they all work the same as this chart here. You would hold R on PC, I believe it is on X or X for controller, and then you would shift through these pages. So depending on your range, would change how many rings you would put on the shell. Um, so in order for you to be accurately accurate with the mortar, you have to know where you're at. So you need some land nav, and some people just they don't get it. But there's a lot of things you can do for you to help. Um, Usually, you can just use landmarks. So if I look in the bottom right of my screen, I am central of Goggoland, which is our map we currently play on. So I'm somewhere within here. I zoom in, and then it says I'm northwest of. Not even gonna try to pronounce that, but it's right here. So I know I'm somewhere in this field, um, based off of it. Now, if I look around, I really don't have any very many landmarks, but what I do see over there is 3 radar dishes. So, line my compass up. I am 156 from that. So, I press K on my keyboard to open my compass, and I try to find where I'm looking, which would be somewhere here. I ain't going to do that for saving time. I'm just going to use a dagger. So, I'm at 0638 052, so I'm here actually. So 8, you count from the left or bottom left of the grid, so I'm here, and then 5. So my exact position, slap dab right here. And then I'm going to mark myself with a blue dot. Actually, we'll do this. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. That's my mark. So I know where I'm at. So I'm going to try to find me a target that's in reasonable range. So I'm going to do this shed, farmhouse. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my pencil, which is N on keyboard, or the little pencil on the side of my screen. Zoom in on my current position. Double click on my mouse. Then draw it across. And then go just a little bit more than I need to. And I'll press B for my protractor. And I'll measure my distance from me to my target. So, get it about right. Okay, and then once I get to here, I get on this side of the protractor, and then place a little line as a marker of that's a kilometer. So I'll just shift this back, and since I placed it on the very edge, I can line it up and I'll be pretty accurate. So each one of these ticks, these little ones, or all of them actually, are increments of 10 meters. This medium one here is 50, so 50, 100, 150, 200, etc. Same with here, 10 Yeah, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, so on and so on. So we see 50s here, so 50, 60, 70. So between 80 and 60 meters. So we're just going to do 70 in our case. So our range is 1 kilometer and 70 meters. So I like to write that down with a little dot. For me, I do yellow as raw, or just the measurement in general. So 1 kilometer and 70 meters from my current position. Now, to get your azimuth, um, which is your bearing of degrees, but scientifically, it's your azimuth. You pull out your protractor. Let's get this out of here. Pull out your protractor. If you look, these outer numbers are your mils for measuring, right? So roughly, because that's 43 mils. So that would be 42.5, and that'd be 41.75, I believe, accurately. 41.75 mils. Um, but that's not how I do things. I go here, and on the left side command, you can go
Squad,
move
go over
marker.
there.
And if I find the direction of where I am shooting, which I do not know,
Squad, move over
it's to the
there.
west. Okay, so right there, if I align my sights with that marker, I am perfectly aligned
Squad, move
on
over there.
my azimuth. So the only thing I have to compensate for is elevation. And that's not hard. So since I have my azimuth, I'm going to look at the top of my screen, which is 4224 mils. So I'm going to write that down. All right. So we go here, and I'll move this a little closer. So put down a red dot for 4224 mils, or I'm going to put mils, azimuth, AZM. I don't even know if that's the actual abbreviation. That's what I use. Now, time to get my distance, or my elevation in mils. So to do that, you pull out this little nifty thing as the range card. Um, as I said earlier, depending on the, I didn't say it actually, but depending on the range will depend how many rings on your shell you want to do. The more rings, the further you can fire. So our target is between 1,000 and 1,100 meters. So here, right? So you'll need a calculator. You open your calculator. So our target, like I said, is between 1,000 and 1,100 meters. So what I need to do is figure out the mil dots difference between um, those two distances. In order to do that, you subtract the numbers. You know, um, pretty simple stuff. Probably did it in kindergarten. Um, so 1266 minus 1225 gives me 41. So that is 41 mils between 1,000 meters and 1,100 meters. So to figure out my um, mils per meter, I divide that by 100, and that's 0.41. And uh, my distance from, well, I don't really have a name for it, but it's 70 meters, right? Um, hmm. My I get as close as I can here, and then I figure out how many meters are there, which is 70 in our case. Um, so I will times my 0.41 by 70, and that gives me 28.7. Keep the decimal. It's pretty useful, believe it or not. Um, so what I need to do is look at my 1,000 meters, my mils, and then look at my 1,100 meters, and then look at its mils. As you can see, the mils are dropping. So I need to subtract 28.7 from 1266. So 1266 minus 28 or 28.7 is 1237.3. So you don't get a decibel when you're looking into the mortar. So the best thing you got is just rounding. Um, so since the number of the decibel is below 5, we will round down. So our elevation for mils is 1237. Okay, 1237. So we'll mark this stuff down. That dot, ELZ, go back, 1237. Okay, so I have my elevation and azimuth. Now all I gotta do is make sure I put the right rounds into the mortar, which I have arranged it for HE shells, which is just frag, and on 2 ring. So I will grab a mortar. Actually, let me grab a box. Okay, we're back. How to grab me a bag. So we are gonna do a 5-round fire mission and then recorrect for the displacement of the mortar. Each round will slightly move the mortar in a direction depending on the direction you're firing and just kind of where the mortar's at. But there's nothing you can do about that unless you have a guy on it aligning it on every round. So we're going to fire 5 rounds to target. Shit, I have the wrong stuff. Whoops. Fire. 2, 3, 5. So we'll look in Game Master and find our target, which is this shed. That fell slightly short. That one did not. I don't know what happened to that first one. Okay, so those are the 5 rounds. First round landed somewhere short, I think. I'm not sure. But this is with the second, the third, the fourth, and then the fifth. As you can see, it slowly shifted to the left, bouncing up and down. Um, but those pretty accurate shots. So we'll move on to another target, just to go on and show. You also got to account for the elevation difference. So where I was firing from, I am at an elevation of 40 meters, and where I was shooting at was at 5. It's not enough at this range to be worried about. You'll get close enough to your target, but if you look at the thing, oh shit, I don't have the thing on me. If you look at it, the drop, uh, deviation of elevation per 100 meters drop, as you can see, that's a big difference. Ignore that. That was my ping. I'll look at it later. So it's something you have to worry about the further distance you have and just how drastic of a height difference is. As you look here, this is a whole 100 meters. So I would have to compensate for that. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I really don't know how to do that, but I can get close enough. I've just depending if you're below your target and that target's higher than you, you would add or you'd subtract that much from it, and you should land. It was a little weird when I was trying to mess with it. So we're still here. This time we're gonna hit a target over there. So like I said, we're gonna grab the pencil, run it all the way over here. We'll do that little house. Actually, we'll go up here. Oh crap, messed it up. Okay, so find the house, go over it just a hair, and then grab my protractor. As you can see, it is further than a kilometer. So draw my line, and then move this back, align it. Okay. Right there. And then move it back up. Okay. So my target is 2,110 meters. So, what did I say? 2,110. So, 2110. So I'll get my raw, which is 2110 meters. Oh my god, what did I do? 2110, and then throw an M on there for meters. And then I'm going to get my azimuth, which, actually, no, probably, yeah, I'm just going to get my distance first. So pull my calculator back out. I'm going to have to use 4 ring on this one, because it's just such a far away target. Actually, I do not. I can use a 3 ring. So, 2,110 meters. So I'll pull this out. 2,000. So between 2,100 and then 2,200. So subtract 1051 minus 999. That is 52 mils. Divide that by 100. That gives me 0.52. I'll go back 10 meters. So I need to times 0.52 by 10. That is 5.2 mils. So I need to subtract 5.2 mils from 1051. And that gives me 1045.8. We're going to round up. So my elevation is 1046. So we'll place down a new marker. 1046. I don't know why I put a Z there. For elevation, right? So now time to get my azimuth. So
Squad, go over there.
where is that at? That's over there. Time lapse. I don't know how to do that actually. We just gotta shift the mortar way over there. Getting close. Okay. Now I'll
Squad,
mark it.
move there.
Align it to my best of my abilities. And then my elevation is 1046. My mils for my azimuth is 6341. So, oh, wrong color. 6341 azimuth. Okay, so 1046. Okay, so I have it ranged for 3 ring. So I will grab my mortars, inspect it, and throw another ring on there, and fire. That should be last round. Yep, okay. So now we go observe. My target was this building, I believe. Okay, no, my target was this actually. I was wrong. So fell short about 100 meters. Okay, so I wonder what I did wrong. So I lost my line. That sucks. I think I counted wrong. I'm gonna be honest. I did go past it just a hair. The way I do it, I probably don't need to, but I do anyway. Okay. Okay. So I really don't know what I did wrong. I'm gonna be honest. The drop ain't drastic enough. Maybe at this range it is. Okay. Well, I need to add some more distance to it. So I need to drop. I'm gonna drop about 30 mils. So I'm at 1033 now. And then I gotta make sure my
Squad, go over there.
azimuth is right. As you can see, it shifted a bunch. Realign. This time we'll fire three rounds. Okay, so it's the farmhouse. Okay, so I need to drop about to 1010. So 1010. We're actually just gonna do 10:05. Make sure
Squad,
my
move over there.
azimuth is off, or on, which I was a little off. It's okay. Do another 3-round volley. Okay. Observing. Direct impact. Direct impact. Okay. It was a little off, but that's just from distance and then the mortar moving around. But it pretty much sums up how to work the mortar in Arma Reforger within a alright amount of time. It also tells you the time in flight and then the deviation of um, of your rounds for time in flight as well. It also shows you your average dispersion for depending on what ring you have, which is nice. Um, so the closer you are, the closer the rounds will land. And then, as you can see, there's all these rounds and stuff. But it all comes down to the same fundamental of being able to find your range, your azimuth, figure out your elevation, and then firing. Um, so I mean, it's pretty simple as long as you can work a calculator and work how numbers work. You can do this. The hardest bit, in my opinion, would be finding where you're at if you don't have the dagger. So that's pretty much it, though.